Okay, everybody, welcome. Welcome back for another Venusaur stream. For some reason, a while ago, I was convinced that I had actually started the inking process, but I didn't. So I want to check that this thing is good to go before proceeding with the ink. But also, let me get the link. How do you get the threads here? Show replies. Show more replies. I'm pretty sure I linked it, but for some reason I can't see it. Hold on a second. Where is it? I want to link something I was talking about today on Twitter with Jake. Well, also in the Discord. Oh, you're in the voice. All right, let's see. Here I am.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing pretty well. How are you? Other than your back.
I'm in pain. I think I did the deadlifts wrong today. I couldn't even go up and weight because it started hurting like right away. I probably did it wrong the first time when I was doing warm-ups, and it went pretty bad. I probably pulled the psoas muscle or something. And so if I sit, it's pretty painful. And if I stand also after sitting, if I lie down, it's okay. On the side at least. So whatever.
You're doing deadlifts.
Yes.
You can.
It was not that much. It was not much. I
but you can screw up pretty easily doing that.
Yeah. Usually I don't, but I was doing them like the Romanian version when you did not really let the barbell down, so you just pull back up, and I think I bent my spine a little too much, so it was not great. Before starting the drawing, I wanted to talk about this because I think Samu posted it in the Discord, and I was perplexed, not surprised, but perplexed at what I'm reading here. So this is the legal information on the Pokemon website, and it reads, where can I start? Man, it's just one sentence. Okay. So distribution in any form, in any channels now known or in the future of derivative works based on the copyrighted property trademarks, service marks, trade names, and other proprietary property fan art of the Pokemon Company International
Proprietary.
Inc. Yes, a proprietary, yeah. Its affiliates and licensors, Pokemon, constitutes a royalty-free, non-exclusive, irrevocable, transferable, sub-licensable, worldwide license from the fan art's creator to Pokemon to use, transmit, copy, modify, and display fan art and its derivatives for any purpose. No further consideration or compensation of any kind will be given to any fan art. Fan art creator gives up any claims that the use of the fan art violates any of their rights, including moral rights, privacy rights, proprietary rights, publicity rights, rights to credit for material or ideas, or any other right, including the right to approve the way such material is used. Now, I am not an expert in legal stuff. I'm really not. But this sounds a lot like bullshit. Like, this is complete bullshit. Why would they write something like this on their website? So they're basically stating that whatever you do that is just fan art because you like Pokemon is theirs. Like, do you actually have to state that? And that you can actually use it? Because they did. The reason why I actually went to check it, because they did it with a guy who had made some logos, apparently, of Groudon and Kyogre or Kyogre. And obviously it was not credited to any degree. But this is complete bullshit. Like, if you're a Pokemon fan knowing these things, you are an idiot. Like, how can you like this company? This company's complete bullshit. Now, Chase, do you want to say anything about this? Again, I don't know the legal aspects of it. I'm pretty sure they are the copyright owners, but man, you can't just take my stuff, even if I use the name Pokemon, if it's completely different, if it's my work. That seems idiot. If it's legal, it's still idiot. So.
Well, okay. Let me talk about this because I do know a fair amount about the law.
Yeah, I figured.
So the thing is, this is a unilateral declaration on their website, and so you can read this and they can declare this, but the legal nuances involved are not as simplistic probably as that they're making it out, and it's going to vary a lot by district to district because it is true that they own the IP of Pokemon, and thus their argument is that any work that is derivative from copyright material without permission can be considered a derivative work, which does have a legal standard. The issue is, depending on the jurisdiction, does this fall into fair use? And that varies from place to place, because if one of the many potential manifestations of fair use has to be it's transformative. So transformative, depending on the legal usage, it basically means you're adding a new meaning or expression to the original thing that you're basing your transformative work off. But it is a little bit nuanced, and so just because the company is stating this doesn't mean that it's necessarily enforceable, because you would have to take it to court, and then it would depend on where the court is, because Pokemon, I think that this is the declaration is being put on a global basis. I don't know if that declaration is actually taking into consideration local laws when they're making it, but if it's just stating that unilaterally. This might be a problem in Japan, though.
Like I think I heard somewhere that in Japan there is something like this. Because laws are pretty bad usually.
I don't know much about Japan's IP laws. The common understanding is that they're pretty lenient in terms of things, which is why, old video games back in the day would just have like Spider-Man and Hulk and other characters in them. And then when they would come to America, you have to get rid of them because those are protected characters here. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of grainy. It's kind of messy because IP law in and of itself is messy. It becomes a debate about to what extent is something transformative. And there is case law regarding this when it comes to things like company logos, because even if a logo looks similar, does it look too similar to the point that it infringes on the copyright holder? So yeah, I mean, this seems like it's a global terms of service kind of issue, but it's really going to depend on the local laws. But I don't know. The one thing that's absolutely true is that this would engender no goodwill into the fan base by threatening them with legal action for making fan art. I mean, I don't think Nintendo gives a shit about that, because they made it clear that they'll take down freaking ROMs that people aren't making money off of just because they can and because they're so protective of their IP. And so, yeah, I don't think they care too much about their reputation. The legal aspect is a little bit more questionable. It's probably going to depend on where you live, how enforceable this is.
Mm-hmm. Still, my point is, whatever the ramifications are on a legal basis, it is a bullshit thing to write. It absolutely is. Like, why would you put yourself in that position to say everything you do that's remote, even just remotely associated to my product, is mine? So you go to a kid, like there is a kid who draws a Pokemon, and you take it and you make a card out of it, or you use it as a base sketch to make a Pokemon card. How can you live with that? That's total bullshit. Hey, Saman. That's completely ridiculous.
The issue is, because you are creating something, like you create a Charizard, and you acknowledge that it's based off of Charizard, but it's your own production based off of your own style, and you're not taking one of their images that an in-house artist created and reselling it online. You're creating your own image and using that to market. And so if they have an issue with that, I mean, I don't understand legally. I don't understand how you wouldn't argue that isn't a transformative usage of the property, which would fall under fair use. But
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I just don't. The Pokemon, and really just Nintendo as a whole, are very anal when it comes to legal issues, overly anal, to the point that they're like I don't understand how so many people are fans of their company anymore when they do things like this to the people that follow them.
Right. I mean, that's still like what they probably fail to understand is that someone who posts a Pokemon fan art is just increasing awareness of their brand. So why would they become enemies of that person? Literally, like, why would you put that person through something like this? That you take their stuff and just use it as you like, without even mentioning that, which would be completely different. I don't know. It's just appalling to me. I have no idea why a company would do something like this if not they're complete idiots.
Yeah, and so the point about similarity and infringement, by the way, is that for many jurisdictions, and there are various case law on this subject matter, but it has to be substantially similar. And what that's kind of subjective, but what that essentially means is that if you're selling something in the marketplace, if two things could be confused, create like a soda brand, and it's like
I think it's dying. I think the okay. Wait a second.
Stream's dying.
Yeah, it was lagging. Okay, should be okay now. Right,
okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah. So like, let's say that I make a soda brand and I use like a red, like a red can, and I call it like Cola Coke or something like that, and I decide to sell. That would probably be considered similar enough that it would create confusion in the marketplace based off of the designs, that they would say, okay, yeah, you can't do this, it's too similar to our own product. But if you're selling like a picture of Charizard and it's done in your own style, and somebody could say, yeah, that looks like Charizard, but it's drawn in a different manner, that doesn't really create confusion in the marketplace. Again, that's my legal opinion based on
also it's just a homage to the original thing, so why? Again, it's literally expanding and growing awareness of a brand for free. Mostly, like, most people do not really monetize their artwork if it's fan art. So why would you do something like that? I don't understand. So Saman, this is what we're talking about. It's a piece of text. You might have seen it on my Twitter. I think you follow me on Twitter. I was just arguing about the BS that's on the legal information on the Pokemon website. Basically, they're stating that they can do whatever they want with any unilaterally, obviously, with any artwork that's inspired by Pokemon, any fan art. No, I didn't get sued. No, and that's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous first because nobody ever signed a contract for that. So they unilaterally decide that, okay, well, whatever you do, this is mine. Secondly, it's a very stupid thing because you become an enemy of your fan base. I understand, like Chase said, that that's what Nintendo loves to do, but it's still very stupid. So I don't understand why so many people appreciate this company.
Yeah,
honestly,
I mean,
really
like the
don't
IP
know.
stuff is really relegated to things like, imagine, you buy a bunch of blank cartridges and you take ROMs of Pokemon games and put them on them and then resell them yourself, right,
still.
for a profit. That would be an example of something where they could legally come after you and do things like that. But somebody making fan art, I mean, obviously. Is that really an issue that you want to take to court and litigate and spend lots of money in order just to protect somebody and suppress them from being able to sell fan art or things like that? That's ridiculous.
Kid, probably.
That's like the little kids that sell lemonade at the stands, and the cops come up and say, "You're violating local merchant laws over here." It's like, dude, get over yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, they do, Saman. Go on the Pokemon subreddit. Go see what the fanboys do. I personally last year I got kicked out of a Telegram chat group because I dared disagreeing with the Nintendo policies. So, I mean, Nintendo fans are extreme, man.
I love this line. Fan art creator gives up any claims that the use of the
Yeah,
fan
like
art
gives a what?
violates
Like
any of
who
their
are
rights,
you?
including moral rights, privacy rights, proprietary rights, publicity rights. By the they wrote that wrong, by the way. Rights to credit for materials or ideas or any other right, including the right to approve the way such material is used. So basically, you're a slave, and they have
Pretty
complete
much. So if
ownership
they
of
take
anything
your
you
stuff
produce.
and put it in a not safe for work thing, it's fine. I don't think it is, but hey. So I can just write on my website. So this, everybody, this thing I'm drawing now, this is it's a Pokemon, and it's my original IP. Absolutely not derivative of any work of any Japanese company whatsoever. This is called Venusaur, and it's a completely original creature that has absolutely no reference to anything that was previously seen in video games or shows. Well, since they do it, and if any company decides to take this image and use it for something else, and even if it's just similar in concept, so maybe it's some sort of frog thing with ears that has a flower on the back and vines, that is gonna be, I'm gonna sue them because that's my property. Does it matter whether I say it or not? No, because I'm just saying it. It's pretty much the same thing. So you can, so I signed contracts that were kind of like that. So like I am working for a company. I am producing also bound by an NDA. I'm producing content for a specific game or a specific IP. Obviously, I do not have any right on that because they are paying me for that. But if I on my own do something that's based on something else, just because I'm a fan, why would that company take that stuff and make it theirs? I really don't know. I don't understand this kind of logic because it's not logical. But hey, I'm not.
That really, I understand companies protecting their IP, but that's the way that they word this and they phrase this. It's like anything you produce, we own, and it's like, okay, I guess slavery is still legal then. Any output you create, own. It's ours.
Jesus. Whatever. Whatever. Really, I just found it ridiculous, like the way it's worded, because it makes no sense. You cannot decide that on your own. So.
Well, yeah, I don't know. In America, this probably wouldn't fly, but I don't know what it's like in Japan with IP laws. So.
I did hear some time ago. I did hear something that there was some issue about that with copyright and something similar because you cannot do anything that's remotely inspired by something else because otherwise the company can take your stuff. Didn't make much out of it back then, but I guess it is a thing. I don't even remember who told me about that or where I heard it, but it was a thing I heard, something similar a few years ago. I guess it's this. Whatever. Yeah, I am, but I'm not. Look, we were talking about AI and properties and stuff. I would never violate someone else's property. This fan art is not violating property. It's just a fan art. So I like the IP, and so I do something that's inspired by that. Clearly stating, I like this product. I made my version of it. I hope you like it too. So what from there to the company is gonna take is gonna have all rights on the thing I produced. What happens exactly? Like why would they? I don't understand. But hey, again, I'm not Japanese. I'm not the Pokemon company, so whatever. Whatever. At least there is something to talk about, when it's about Pokemon. Usually something bad. But whatever. She's gonna be here. Well, did you guys hear the dogs barking in the background?
I heard them.
Pretty annoying. As always, when the masters are away, the dogs bark. These dogs. For no reason. Like, no reason really. Just bark. All day. Oh, freaking day.
Agreed, Chase. I'm all for IP laws when they benefit creators. Yeah, but I mean, it's like, okay, so if I say, Vyconauts is my intellectual property, somebody taking like the ROM or the file for the game and then reselling it online, like obviously that's legally wrong to do. So I could sue them for that. But going after somebody because like they like a monster in the game and they want to create fan art of it, that's silly.
Right.
That's absolutely silly.
It is. You should actually be happy that someone likes your property enough to spend
time
and effort to do
outreach.
that. That
means people are invested and they want to be. By creating a community and people creating this artwork, it actually brings more eyeballs to the product that you're creating.
Yeah. Fan art is also not monetized or made to devalue the original and its creator. It's definitely fair use. I think it is. I think it is fair use. So,
well, it could be. That's the issue with IP law, is that it's often very vague. I would agree that it's probably fair use, but again, it depends entirely on where you're from, because some countries are way more strict about it than others. Japan maybe is more strict, but that's what I was saying earlier. They have this legal information on their website, and it's clearly a global website, and so they're unilaterally making these declarations, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's enforceable in every area.
Yeah, right. That's a problem also, because they're not. They can sue you for according to Japanese jurisdiction or Japanese law, but it's not necessarily that you live in their jurisdiction, so they cannot enforce it. If I live here and it's not a crime, whatever. So maybe I can sue them according to my law, my local law. So what gives at that point? We're just gonna sue each other and see who's right. Probably both. Or at least I try to put it more of on a fairness or a moral level, because from a logical standpoint, this doesn't hold. Again, law can be very wrong, like very bad, and do not be very I wouldn't say illogical, but there are certain laws that are obviously pretty stupid, right? So I wouldn't just put it on that level. I prefer to think about it in terms of logic and in terms of fairness, and this is unfair and illogical because of what it does. So, to me at least. But hey, they do whatever they like.
Hi, it's Loon from YouTube. Oh,
hey,
are you
Loon.
Nyx?
No, Nyx. No, we have another Nyx. I think Nyx is the name of a character.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I thought we had a Nyx on YouTube, or I thought.
Actually, I know Nyx is the name of a character because one of my mentees is drawing a character named Nyx as a fan art. So sometimes it is not silly, but welcome. Yes. No worries. You can be wherever you want as long as you're here. It is not silly when you have a market that is being destroyed from fan-made like Shazam and Superman. Is it being destroyed? Like, one thing
I don't know
is
what you mean by that.
Right, because like if I make a fan art of Superman and I go to Comic-Con and I sell it, it's not destroying the market. Again, it's increasing brand awareness. Maybe someone will pick up the comic book and become a fan. Obviously, I cannot publish comic books that are Superman or Shazam because of that. But it's very different from doing some fan art. Like, if you can't do fan art, you're like, how do you even get new artists to, or fan fiction? Same, right? You cannot take a fan fiction and just make an episode of Pokemon out of that. They would probably do it because it's considered fan art, I guess. But it's the same thing. So, where I am from, there is no actual copyright. Most artists are dependent on the government handouts because they can't make a lot of money with their work. I thought you said art was illegal where you live, or sort of. Kind of illegal. The previous one more. I'm gonna have to edit. Oh, you mean when Shazam was made? Okay, well, that's another character though.
Wait, what? I don't. The story here?
Me either. Like I don't know what happened, but like if it's another character, I don't know what story behind it, but it would be like Spawn, got like the what's it called? Todd McFarlane, got sued because they made Spawn and it was successful and DC and Marvel were not selling anymore. I don't know that story, with Shazam, but.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused about Shazam and Superman. I do know that Shazam was originally called Captain Marvel before they changed his name. I don't know if that's what you're referring to or not. But yeah, it later became a legal issue because DC had a character named Captain Marvel and they had to change the name of the character because of Marvel Comics.
Okay.
They argued that since they're in the same medium, like they're both comic book companies producing characters, that having the character named Captain Marvel was misleading in a character that's not owned by Marvel.
Right. Yes, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. But see, that's a different thing. Again, when we talk about fan art, it's just the artist usually acknowledges the existence of the original. It's not trying to replace it, right? So that's why I don't see the issue. I don't see why this should be a thing, because it's not.
When Shazam was first made, it destroyed Superman's cells. DC sued and won. I'm not sure what you mean. Shazam is a DC character too. Superman and Shazam are DC characters. So if Shazam's comic sells more than Superman, I mean, they're both owned by DC. Right. I'm not sure what you're referring to. You can't sue your own company because this comic sells more than another. You want that.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea about that. I see. So it's not illegal anymore. Okay. You got it wrong last time. So if you can tell us about this Shazam controversy. We're not really familiar with it. I'll leave it as it is. It doesn't look good. It wasn't a DC comic at that time. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not that familiar with Shazam, honestly. I know there was a movie, and that's how I learned about Shazam, but before that I had no idea there was a character named Shazam. Literally no idea. Oh.
Let me read this.
Let's go. A tangent. I don't know. Look it up. DC sued the comic book publisher that made Shazam because it was a ripoff of Superman. Yeah, but we're still talking about something extremely different from fan art. That is still, I'm making, it's the Coca-Cola Coke example Chase made. So I'm making something very similar to your IP, not acknowledging it's inspired by your IP. So And I'm trying to profit out of it. It's different.
IP law is totally subjective. It's done by a case-by-case manner, so there isn't a lot of like real consistency on what is considered an infringement of copyright. Because again, this is all sort of intellectual matters. It really depends on what you consider transformative and what you consider to be like a replication of an original. In the case of like, yeah, I'm reading this now. So you're talking about Shazam was originally a character called Captain Marvel, who was owned by Fawcett, I guess is the company. It was Fawcett Publications, something like that. And DC took them to court and argued that Shazam or Captain Marvel was too similar to Superman and thus was an infringement on the copyright issue. And I guess they won, and then now DC owns that character. But then they had to change the name of the character because it would have been an infringement on Marvel.
Oh, jeez. Oh, cheese. Where's cheese? You're wondering where cheese is. Anyway, again, fan art is a completely different matter, in my opinion, and it shouldn't be. There are so many artists who are able to support themselves because they do comic book fan art. Even famous ones like David Finch, for example. They do commissions based on that because they work in comics. And they can, and they're not going to be sued for that. And more likely, DC or Marvel will not use their stuff without permission because it's a BS thing to do, right? Where is it? Oh man, the stream is dying again. Yeah, it died. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Yeah, I think Restream is starting to do that again. Let me check my settings. But it dropped to 0 a second ago. It's not doing well. Output, stream. It's still US London, but this is absolutely Restream doing the same bullshit again. Because my internet is fine. I'm sorry, everybody. It seems that Restream is being an ass again. So I'm gonna have to put up with that for now. My apologies.
This is interesting. I'm reading more about the case, and so originally the trial was decided in Fawcett's favor. The defense lawyers provided evidence that National Comics and the McClure Syndicate failed to copyright several of their new Superman newspaper comic strips. And the trial judge decided that National had abandoned its Superman copyright such that it was no longer valid. The trial judge did find, however, that Captain Marvel was an illegal copy of National Superman. So originally the trial was in Fawcett's favor, and then they appealed the decision, and then the copyright claim that National had was valid, but the McClure strip was not under copyright. And then they found that the Captain Marvel was an infringement of that copyright. The judge didn't find that the character itself was an infringement, but rather the specific stories or feats could be infringements, and that they had to have a retrial after the initial trial. And so instead of trying to appeal, they just settled with National out of court. And that's usually the case because the first trial was probably very expensive, and then the second trial would be, the same amount, if not more than the first trial. So they decided it wasn't really worth litigating anymore. We're just going to settle out of court and then close up shop because this company wants to put us out of business. That's very interesting, though, that they said that the characters themselves were not similar, but rather the infringement was the things that they could do was too similar.
Okay, well, at least we know more about it now. Oh, it's okay on your end. Yeah, I just noticed it dropped to 0. Or dropped to 0. It's dripping bits here and there. So yeah, again,
That's
it's
the subjective nature of IP law, as I was saying though, because really, when you think about it, does that make is that really logical? Like, because both these characters can fly and have super strength and things like that, that means
right.
they're too similar to one another. Like, how many comic book characters have electricity powers from different companies? Or, think about like Quicksilver from X-Men versus what's his name? From DC, the Flash, right? Like
Yeah,
Quicksilver and Flash both can run really fast.
yeah.
That's basically their superpowers. Does that mean that one is an infringement on the other,
No, we don't.
just based on their powers? I mean, they could be completely different characters too, and they are. But again, that's the nature of IP law, and that's why it sucks. That's why I would hate to be an IP. Well, I'd actually probably like to be an IP lawyer because I can make any argument I want.
I guess at that point, why not? Oh yeah, it's a complicated ground. Still, that's why I would mostly put it on the fairness level.
It also gets like a little messy when it comes to things like parody, because I mean, what if they argued that that Shazam or Captain Marvel was a parody of Superman? That would have been interesting. Usually,
I wonder.
parody
Parody
is
is okay, right?
parody is usually considered safe by law. You're allowed to
Right.
make parodies of works.
Well, Shazam is not it's not serious, is it? Isn't it a little comical?
I don't know if it was originally, but again, that would be another subjective argument you could make. You could present something totally serious and then argue that the seriousness is a parody of the original.
True. Depends on how you're able to play it out.
If I were a lawyer, I'd make any argument possible to win.
Oh yeah, obviously,
It's their job.
absolutely. I wonder whoever who put that up on the Pokemon website thinking that was a good idea. Honestly, they word it like that. I don't think it's helping anybody.
Well, I understand what they mean when they say that the fan creator gives up any claims to privacy rights or proprietary rights. It looks really bad when you say they give up all of their moral rights to us.
That's a little extreme. It is a tiny bit extreme, but this long. Oops.
Nemo, I was reading about the Stargate project yesterday. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes. I think so. Wait. Which one?
So
Is
that
it
was
the-
actually
the-
it was
yeah.
that was the code name for like a U.S. Army unit in the 70s, and they work with the Stanford Research Institute, and the idea behind the government project was to investigate people for psychic phenomenon and use
Okay,
that
no, it
for
was
like
something else.
domestic intelligence. So yeah, like they focused a lot of work on like things like remote viewing, being able to see things
Yeah,
from
I
a
heard about
distance
that.
and
Though.
so on.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they would, take people in, and they actually talked to people that claimed they were psychics. One of them was Ingo Swann, who was a very famous historical psychic, and he like worked with the Stanford Research Institute to, test people for psychic phenomena and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. I kind of vaguely knew about it. What I didn't know is that the reason why they started it was because of the Soviet Union. I guess during that time period, the Soviet Union was claiming that they had psychics and they were using psychics for espionage, and the United States was worried that the Soviet Union had a leg up on them in terms of intel. So they created their own, basically, government project to explore psychic properties. I'm like, dude, that's a great story.
It is.
Imagine the alternative history story where the government finds people who are actual psychics and uses them to fight the Soviet Union.
Well, that would be an interesting movie or a comic. Or
It's actually kind of the plot of Metal Gear in some ways, but
to a degree, yeah. Sounds like a Japanese way to say don't infringe your IP. Maybe.
But this is posted globally on their website, so
It's on the
they're
US
trying to enforce
website,
this for everywhere. Yeah.
But again, as always, oh damn it, I have to save that. It's not damn. It's not a PSD. Okay, well, you can't really see spoilers here, fortunately. Photoshop. Clip Studio is slow,
Also,
man. Yeah.
saying that it's a Japanese way to say don't infringe on IP doesn't really mean anything when it comes to law. Because if they can say, here's the legal information, we're going to enforce this, then you have to take the letter of what they're saying literally. I mean, that's how contracts work, right? You have to actually read the contract, and the parameters are going to be based off of the contract that you're setting. So if they're setting up legal information, and the website itself, the web page is legal, and at the top says legal information, it would be hard to argue, well, this isn't actually legally binding. We didn't mean for this to be for everywhere. That's not going to work. People would read legal information and say, this is the parameters they're setting up for the laws that they want to enforce.
Yeah. The Psycho Wars. Like Secret Wars. Secret War. Where's that? Okay, so yeah, if you guys see the Pokemon Company using these Pikaman thing, Vine's source, please let me know.
Read the previous comment. I asked, was it translated? Google Translate is not very... No, this is on their US website.
No, it's not translated. I don't know if they use Google Translate to translate it, but it would be kind of hard to mess that up. In this way, it seems to be very genuinely legalese. So
it's very obviously meant to be as broad as possible. That's why it's very short and concise. It doesn't have many typical legal clauses, or it's not inundated with tons of legalese as normal copyright information is. It's meant to be as broad as possible, so that way, based off of people using the IPs, they could say, well, based on this language, that's kind of an issue though when you take something as broad and subjective as IP to begin with, and then your actual legal argumentation or documentation on your website is very broad and it's just a single paragraph essentially. Yeah, they're trying to hedge their bets and say it's broad enough that it can cover the spectrum of most countries' laws, but whether or not that holds up in court is a different matter. Like if you were to enforce this in America, I think they would have a difficult legal case because generally speaking, we are very protective of things like fair use.
Which is good. Which is very good. So, well, yeah. I know that threw me off guard today a little bit. But thank you.
It's not shocking at all, though. It's a
no, it's not shocking. It's not shocking. From this company, no. From a company that makes the creatures like bridges. Probably not. Oh, hey, let's milk the cow. As long as it's alive, or let it die, or whatever. They're literally gonna milk this Pokemon cow until it dies. And it's gonna die. I think it's gonna die at some point. There is no way they can keep the same attitude they're having now and succeed for a long time. Also because I know I have this idea that with the advent of AI and possibility that single people and small teams have to make very good games, I think the market's probably going to slowly shift over to like from big companies making AAA games to anyone being able, like even small indie studios being able to make a AAA game. So at that point, it will just vanish, because if they make that same content and the competition makes a similar quality product, obviously the competition will win. So there's no Pokemon at that point anymore, because it's going to be so much competition at that level that whatever, unless they want to start a legal war against anybody making a game that has creatures inside that you can capture and whatnot.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to sue Digimon because it has Mon in the name and features creatures you can capture?
They could.
But I do kind of hope that the company eventually collapses. And I hate to say that because I used to really like Pokemon, but it's very clear that their business model is untenable, pushing out a new game every year, much crunch on their developers, and it's very obvious the results when they're not making DS games or Game Boy games anymore. They're making games on 3D consoles that require a lot more manpower and a lot more resources in order to effectively make them work. And they're cutting corners, and they're not hiring. They don't have the number of people that they would need to work on as many projects as they do. And when you look at the issues with the games that have come out recently, like especially Scarlet and Violet, with all of the glitches, and then the overall landscapes and looks of the game, it's like so ridiculous. Especially when you compare it to something like Tears of the Kingdom and Scarlet and Violet aren't that far apart from each other, but they're like a worlds of difference even in terms of stability between the games.
Yeah.
I would argue that Tears of the Kingdom is way more complex in terms of mechanics, and yet somehow Scarlet and Violet is like way more unstable as a release.
It is. So, well, goodbye, Pokemon Company. Or you can go back to making 2D games. Why not? It was probably better. It would be nothing bad.
No, Saman, the part about moral rights isn't a Google translation. That is something that you can consider in law. Like some areas do have certain clauses about moral rights, and the basic idea the basic idea behind moral rights in terms of law is like it protects the personal and reputational value of a work to its creator. So that some instances of breaking IP law, they argue, are hurting the value of the work of a person. Again, this is all subjective, but that's where the moral language comes in, because they're, like I said, they're trying to capture as large a breadth of the law as possible. So they're throwing in moral rights, proprietary rights, personal rights, etc., and so forth. They're trying to cover all the bases as
your
globally
rights as a human
possible.
being. We can treat you like a slave.
Basically. That's what they're saying. They're saying that they own the output that you create.
Yeah, well, we own you. So guys, just know that if you ever make a monster that's based off of my original monsters, I own you. So you gotta be my slave for the rest of your life, because you dared to do that. Whatever. Whatever. I don't think IPs. IPs. I don't think IPs can die. That's not what I meant. I think big companies will not be the market leaders anymore if it continues to be to go. The trend continues, and it will probably because of the possibilities that single developers will have, or small teams. You could argue that bigger companies will have even more possibilities, but I don't know.
When you're using the argument about AI, more companies are going to use AI to help in developing their products, and so that necessarily lets them downscale things a little bit, which they would want to do. They would want to have fewer people working, but still have the same amount of profits, because that means more profits to them.
Right. Same output with less input in terms of money. So actually, I was well, not surprised, but perplexed to see that Blizzard is it Blizzard? No, it's Wizards of the Coast is publishing an art book with AI art in it, and it's also pretty bad AI art. Like, they probably didn't even check you might have seen it, someone. They probably didn't even check the art before green lighting, because some of it is pretty bad, like missing feet and whatnot. Usual stuff for AI art. It's ludicrous.
That's just lazy.
It is. It is lazy.
I'm assuming that the art is based off of properties they create, though, right?
Yes.
It's like AI generated versions of things of IPs that they own.
Yeah. It's an art book of the giants of something.
Isn't it ironic that Japan, Pokemon the company, puts out this like legalese talking about how they own their output? Yet a lot of their original games, like Final Fantasy, most of their
They
crap was
copied
based
from it,
off of
yeah.
D&D. And they straight up used like Mind Flayer and based it off of
Oh
Illithid,
yeah,
things like that.
it is kind of
Which is why they
ridiculous.
changed it when they came
But
to
it's always like
America.
this with
'Cause-
Japanese stuff. They can do things, but you can't, because they have the
Yeah.
right, because they're a superior race. So that's their thought. Usually, that's what I've been told, almost quite literally. Because we are different. So okay. Thank God I'm not interested in games anymore. I do like games still, but certainly I'm not a fanboy. Like, I'm not gonna cry if there is not gonna be any more Pokemon game. Actually, it's probably gonna be a good thing. Or if there's not gonna be any more Final Fantasy game, whatever. At some point, things have to be. I prefer things to be finite. Pokemon should have been a thing. They should have quit when they were still the good guys, when they were still winning. That's something that Jake was also talking about today. Because at some point, I don't know why he was doing a chill stream because he was tired. He put on some music. Someone probably asked for it, from Scarlet and Violet, and it was horrible. It sounded like it was out of Dance Dance Revolution. And so we started talking about it, and he's like, yeah, the Pokemon company should, that never heard either you die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain, because that's what's happening to them basically. They were the prodigies.
My opinion,
in the beginning. Mm-hmm.
My opinion is that I think Gen 5 probably should have been the last gen.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy Gen 5, and I'm like, I don't think it's gonna get much better. You've got the animated sprites, and you feel like that they were still invested. And I think that when they went to 3D, a lot of the charm and the heart started going away. And then it's when it's like, this is now just a company. They were always a company, but I didn't feel like the transition to 3D took away a lot of the charm and heart of the series.
100%.
Especially because they were always working in 2D spaces. They were always working on handhelds, and then the 3DS was a handheld too. But now they're much experience in, and so when you're translating things from 2D to 3D, as we've discussed before, it doesn't always work. That's a different dimension of space that you're looking at objects in, and so now it became a little bit more like the world seems a little more dead to me in terms of what they're presenting. I don't know. I think that they hit a peak, and then now that they realize that they have to keep producing things because the games keep selling, that they're crapping out a product every year. And it's a shame because I grew up with them. Like Pokemon Red was like the first video game I ever played. And so seeing something that I used to really enjoy and that inspired me so much, and seeing what it's become, it's a little bit depressing. At the same time, sometimes you have to take Old Yeller out behind the shack and put him out of his misery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Better to stop as long as you're winning. Stop before you start losing, basically. They hired an NFT guy. About the... Is it so late? Is there so much delay? Like 20 seconds or something? Or a minute? Is it still working here? Let me see. No, it's not that late on my end. I guess you're referring to the Wizards thing. Come on. Yeah, I don't know exactly how it was, but I know they're publishing an art book, and clearly that's AI art. But if they're publishing something, is there no art director who vets the art? Did they just hire someone? Hey, make us an art book. Sure.
Yeah, I assume that you would still have an editor of some sort that looks at these images and say,
Right.
hey,
How do you not see that
this image over here does not have a leg?
Right. You can't not see that if you are at least a little bit used to that kind of content. I saw it immediately. That you don't now, especially at the point AI still is now. You can tell if something is AI generated, and I'm kind of tired of seeing AI stuff, especially on the homepage of Pixiv or DeviantArt. Because it's like pornography. There's not much difference. It's like this overload, this sensational overload, usually of like little cute girls, or even not. It could be even like super powerful monsters or stuff. But it's so much. Like you get this wall of images. They're pretty much all the same. What's different from pornography? Like it's literally sensory overload. So it doesn't. There is no value in those things. There is no point, really, no point at all. We're old man Nemo. We're watching a company that used to make content for us. Now it's making content we don't want. Well, it's making content for them. So, which is one thing you should also, be very aware of. Like for example, whenever I stream or do things, I try to give as much value as I possibly can. I like to share what I do, but I would like people to enjoy at least what they see, or give tips or whatnot, so that they can, go home or stay home with something that's of some sort of value. And that's what I want to get from video games too. Like I was saying the other day, I want, if I play a game, I'm investing my time, which is the most precious thing I have. So I want to get something out of it. Mm-hmm.
I think Saman's point is that he's arguing that you're older now, and so that doesn't appeal to you anymore. So you're looking at it through a different lens. But I don't agree with that argument, because I think you can, we're all subjective, but you can try to be objective in your analyses of things. And so it isn't just a matter of saying, well, this isn't for me, so therefore other people think it's good. But that doesn't negate the criticisms, right? Like Nemo and I have been talking about FF13 yesterday, and it's like, it doesn't really matter to me whether this is, new or old. I think a lot of the criticisms we have of the game are valid regardless of the age of it. It doesn't mean like all old games are good. Most of them are bad, but most new games are also bad too. It's like there are certain qualities that games have that make them considered good. Like a lot of people, when they talk about the SNES, they talk about specific games that are good. They don't say every game is good. People talk about, Chrono Trigger to this day or something, or Final Fantasy VI, right? And there are certain qualities that those games have that still translate well to this day. There are other games that have qualities that don't translate well. Yeah. So when we're talking about Pokemon, I streamed Pokemon last year. I did a tutorial on how to get Mew in Red and Blue. And even as I was playing, I mentioned this to Nemo when I was streaming. I was like, even though this is old and, the graphics are outdated, there's still a hint of charm and heart to this that I really enjoy. It's just a feeling that you get when you play that you just don't get when you play it nowadays.
It's very anonymous. That's the thing. And when you see something you can see something that's more charming, that's new. It's just that some things that used to be charming are not anymore. So it's really a matter of trying to be as objective as possible, which is not always easy. People
make the argument, that it's not made for you, and that's why you feel this way. I don't try to look at things like that, I'm not interested in like romance novels or things like that, but I can still read one and point out where it's like the objective parameters in which it succeeds, right? There are some good romance novels and there are bad ones, even if I don't like the genre in general. I have to concede that there are certain things that are just really, really good about certain books. That is independent of my personal tastes and whether or not I like that. I try to eliminate that part of me where it's like, okay, I don't like this particular genre per se, but I want to understand this in terms of what it's trying to do as a story, right? That's exactly how I try to do criticism for movies and such. It's like you can look at this movie and it's like looking at Casablanca. Casablanca is like a historical drama and romance kind of movie, and it's one of the best movies ever made. And so, like, it's trying to say, well, Casablanca is a great movie, but it's not horrifying enough. It doesn't have enough horror. But that's an unfair criticism. It's not trying to be a horror movie. It's trying to be a drama, a romance movie. And so you have to understand things on the parameters in which they're being set. So, like, saying Pokemon is geared towards a younger audience, that's kind of a dismissive point. Just because something is meant for children does not mean it's either good or bad. Absolutely. There's some stuff for children that's legitimately good. Like, I haven't watched the whole movie, but like the Paw Patrol movie. There's some legitimate. There's legitimately good stuff in that movie. Like the entire character of Chase and his arc in the movie and his heroism. and you know, there's actual drama and stakes. And I'm like, that's really impressive for a movie geared towards children. You can't just say that something, you know, obviously it's different. The way that it materializes is different compared to, you know, in a movie for adults, but a lot of the principles are the same. You do want, you know, a character arc, you want stakes, you want like a clear objective between heroes and villains, and you want those various things. You want the satisfying ending where the hero overcomes. It's basic story.
No, Saman, it's not about the White House. I haven't even watched the whole movie ever. I'm familiar with some scenes. I'm obviously familiar with the classic scene with the car and the plane that's leaving. But no, it's not.
Yeah, no.
About the White House.
It's not about the White House. It's set during World War II.
So,
I mean, Casablanca is the city in Morocco. That's where it takes place.
I figured. I mean, Pokemon is making games for kids. We're no longer a target. Okay, that's the one you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think it's that. Yeah. Also, because I do have kids, and so there are some things that I recognize are good, and some things I recognize are bad. Certainly, being an adult, especially if I watch something that I already watched many times, like I cannot watch the Pokemon anime, you know, anymore. But it's still like, I don't mind if my kids watch that. It's not bad. It's boring. It's repetitive, but kids don't mind that. So that's different from actually cranking out. I mean, the old one, from cranking out very bad products. So I would have them watch the old Pokemon anime, even if that's not my target demographic anymore. Maybe I didn't even see some episodes, and I find them boring now. But I'm like, you know what? I don't care. It doesn't hurt anybody. You know, it's just a bland cartoon that's made to sell merchandise.
Well, I don't have kids, but I'd rather them watch something like that where, you know, it's simplistic, but at least it has characters and each episode has a story and there's a beginning, middle, and end. I would rather them watch that than like watch a GTA video where they put in Spider-Man mods and they just shoot things and it's just mindless. And there's tons of that on YouTube.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to get my not so friendly Japanese relatives to not let my son watch videos of YouTubers that play games, but it's hard. That is something that's pretty bad. Even if the target demographic for that is us, basically, or even maybe younger. But it's games, and I think it's bad content, so it doesn't really matter what the demographics is, because maybe I don't like it, but again, it's the usual thing we talk about, like when we were criticizing the Pokemon designs. This is absolutely nothing to do with tastes. This is to do with quality, which is different. Yes. Yeah, Chase is... Yeah, that's why Chase has a dog. No. It's from Paw Patrol. It's a cartoon about dogs.
Yeah, Chase is the police dog. It's the German Shepherd.
And they got some characters and stuff. It's watchable. Like it's, if anything, it's just repetitive sometimes, but it's okay. It's a kid's cartoon. Like whatever.
I guess there's some websites that say that Paw Patrol is right-wing propaganda for children.
Why?
Because it shows like police dogs.
It's dogs. It's dogs. It's just dogs.
It actually, you know, teaches children that there are these animals and they try to help their community and things like that. It shows animals working together and working with children and helping, you know, solve problems and solve fires and things like that, because like they're heroic. That's a problem.
Yeah, it is. You shouldn't solve issues, just cause them. Let's cause some more problems to our neighbors.
How dare you show the police dog in a positive manner? Don't you know police officers are all terrible people?
Oh man. Whatever. I just wish there was more good content. It's just the good content is becoming rare. Is becoming really increasingly rare, and I don't know if this is because of what I said before, like because everyone can make it, or because they found more cheap ways to make it, so they just want to milk the cow. Anyone in general. I don't know, but content of any kind was. I think there was more. It was people cared more. Even 20 years ago, they cared more about giving something that's a little more substantial. Even with toys, I see toys that I buy for my kids now, and they feel like very cheap compared to some toys that I had when I was a kid. And I know it's not just my impression because I have some of those toys still. So
I have nephews, and I have to. Well, I buy them toys every now and again, and I have to agree that the quality is even materials themselves. When you feel them, feel a lot cheaper.
Cheaper and
same thing with
lighter.
trading cards, by the way.
Oh, right,
if you have a Yu-Gi-Oh card today and you compare it to a Yu-Gi-Oh card that came out 20 years ago, the material, the ones that you buy today in packs just feel so cheap. It feels paper thin, like it'll snap just by touching it.
Yeah. So whatever, be it production that's been how do you say that? It's been not exported. Jesus, I shouldn't draw and talk at the same time. It's been like production was moved to maybe some specific countries that do not have that eye for detail or quality. I don't know. But the fact stands that many things that are produced today are of a much less, of much worse quality than things that were produced before. That's true even for I think for everything. Like for example, when I was in Sicily, I had this fridge from my friend's grandma because he was renting his grandma's place, so the fridge was there, and it was an old fridge, like from the 60s. It still worked very well. Then I got another fridge that was his fridge because I wanted it bigger. And that fridge was it had less than 10 years. And that broke like in 2 months. And my grandma's fridge, which is similar to the one I had in Sicily, is still working upstairs here. But anything you buy nowadays, even if it's more expensive, it's not going to last as long. So I would say, for some reason, production quality has decreased overall across the board for a lot of products. I'm not sure if it's everything, obviously, but for a lot of products. Mass production probably.
Well, anecdotally, I had a microwave. We had the microwave for I want to say almost 10 to 12 years, something like that, our old microwave. And eventually it just kind of crapped itself out. So we had to get a new microwave. And then the new microwave lasted like 2 years. And then we had to get a new microwave after that. And it's like, damn, the quality of these appliances has gone down. They constantly want us to replace them.
Yeah, right. And I think this is true for consoles too. I don't know about I guess I was not very in touch with the rest of the world obviously as a kid, so I don't know if the PS1 had a lot of issues, but my PS1 never broke. It's still done. I think it's still working even if it's covered in dust in the garage. I changed 3 PS2s and 2 Xbox 360s, and my PS3 is not working anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've had 2 360s because my first one did in fact get the red ring of death.
Same.
When that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I had to replace that, but my N64 still works. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Oh yeah, I think if I never gave away my Sega Genesis, I would still have it. So yeah, Saman, I think you're right. That's basically what I mean. Like they move production to.
And don't get me started on controllers.
Oh, the analog drift. I never got an analog drift on my PS2, and I used it for hundreds of hours. Nor PS1, nor the Genesis. My PS4 had an analog drift 6 months after I bought it. 6 months.
I have I have two PS4 controllers. One of them has analog drift, and then I have like 3 Switch controllers, and like 2 of them have analog drift.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
And that's why, by the way, I buy an actual controller to use with my Switch because I refuse to use the Joy-Cons after seeing so many people talk about the drift on them after just using them for any period of time.
You know what? Mine did not drift, but they're extremely painful to use.
Yes.
I don't like the Joy-Con. I'm just too cheap to spend $60 on a controller. I don't want to spend more than 40 for any kind of a controller, and I do not accept spending 60 to 70 to get a pro.
I just buy third-party controllers.
Okay, that's different. That's different. I know
if they're gonna break, I bought the Pro controller for $60, and that has some slight drift in it. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, I'm like, you know what? I'm just buying $20 controllers off of Amazon. Right? Because if I have to replace them, at least I paid a third of the price for a controller I have to replace anyway.
Yeah, pretty much, because the quality at that point is the same. I don't know. I heard the Pro controller is really good. It's got really good haptic feedback and whatnot. But still, $60 is too much. It's just a controller. Come on. It's just a controller. Your PS2 is still working? Yeah, mine is. I think that's still working too. PS2. This one, the last one.
My fat PS2 still worked, but there was something wrong with the laser imaging, so I couldn't actually play PS2 games on it. So I went out and bought the Slim, and I still have a Slim that works. But,
so
that seems to be a common issue with the fat PS2 though.
Yeah, I had a fat silver PS2, the one that came with 2 controllers, at lunch. I got it in 2003, I think. Christmas 2003, probably. And it lasted 1 year and a half, because the first summer I played Final Fantasy X. The second summer I'm like, okay, I played these other PS1 games like Final Fantasy 8, 9, and 7 on my PS2. I'm gonna try Kingdom Hearts. I try Kingdom Hearts, and it breaks. At some point in September it breaks. So it was maybe almost 2 years, I guess. But man, I remember it started doing like when I was in the Coliseum, and it was so annoying. And at some point, it just stopped reading discs completely. So too bad. And I brought it to the store, and they reconditioned it for $80. And I guess they gave me another one that had another problem, maybe the motherboard or something else, because it broke after 2 months. So it was not very good. When you were young teens, did you buy your own games? Well, I didn't have money. I
did not. I was contingent on my parents, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up, to be honest.
Same.
So I didn't have like the opportunity to play every game. So I only played select games during that time period.
Yeah, for me, buying a game was a rare thing.
Yeah, back then that was a thing. You had to pick which games that you wanted to get, and then you would play them for months to years on end.
Like something that I picked up because of this is definitely never playing 2 games at once, because I couldn't simply I couldn't do that. No, it was the only time I bought 2 games. It was after Christmas, because there was a sale, and I spent like $4 on one. It was horrible, by the way. It was a horrible racer. I forgot the name of. It was like horrible game. But I spent $4 on it, because actually it was 40, but for some reason at the cashier it came out as 4. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So, and I regret that day not buying Metal Gear Solid, because it was there. It was also on sale. It was about $25. The original Metal Gear Solid for PS1.
Yeah, that was back in the day, because I didn't own a lot of games, but my mom would take me to Blockbuster, and we would rent video games, because it was just a couple of bucks to rent it for, like a couple of days or so, and then take it back. And that was a lot cheaper than buying full games at full prices. So. Oh, yeah. That was in the day when you can do that. As far as I can tell, there's basically no video game rental service anymore.
No. Even demos are not that common anymore. I mean, there are, but I still remember the days of the demo discs. So
They should offer that though. I mean, it's like when I go into Vudu and buy movies, you can choose to either rent a movie or buy it, and obviously renting is a lot cheaper than buying it usually. So like if you like go to a game on the game store, it would be nice if you could like have the option to rent the game for like
oh yeah,
they give you like 48 hours to rent the game and play it. And then, by the time the rental's over, you can form an opinion. Do I want to buy this for full price? Do I want to rent it again, or etc.? That would be like a nice option to give people.
absolutely, yeah. Although I don't think it's gonna be something because even the PS5 is getting rid of the disc reader in one of the two versions. I would still get when I will get the PS5, I'm still gonna get the disc version, I think, for one simple reason. Oh wait, I forgot to read some on my Slim PS2 stopped playing discs, so I had to buy one of those external memories that saves games. I see. Yeah, I didn't know that was an option back then, obviously, because I was a kid. But I was saying, I'm still gonna buy the disc version because I had an issue. I think I mentioned I did not like Subnautica, and I asked for a refund. I only played 17 minutes, but they said because you waited more than 2 weeks, even if you only play 17 minutes, we're not gonna refund you. And that's bullshit because if I get a physical game, I can resell it basically at the same price. Depending on the game. Like if it's a Nintendo game, absolutely at the same price. But if it's not, even if I got it cheaper, like if I got the Spider-Man PS4 game for like $25, I can resell it maybe not for 25, but for something that's still not zero anyway after I played it. If I don't enjoy it right away, I can resell it. And I'm still gonna get my money back, almost all of it probably. But with digital games, it's different.
Yeah, that's where the breakdown between physical and digital games kind of falls apart, because with a physical game, so they're basing the digital games off of the point of purchase and not the point at which you start playing it to form the opinion on whether you want to keep playing it.
Yeah.
And so like with a physical game, if you buy it, regardless of how long it takes for you to actually open the game and play it, you could still at some point resell that and make some sort of money or credit back off of doing so. But you can't do that with digital games because they base it off of the point at which you buy the game, not when you play it.
Right. Which is nonsense to me. Also, another benefit of physical games, you can share it with your friends. At least you can if there is no DRM sort of bullshit like they put on one of the Xboxes. I don't know. I think they put some sort of security check at some point. I think they removed it now, but for maybe the Xbox One, you are not allowed to share games with another user or something. But
that's very ironic because PlayStation, when the PS4 was first coming out, they made a video that made fun of the Xbox for going digital only. Did you ever watch that video?
No.
They did.
Or maybe I did, but I forgot.
Okay, I'm going to link it in the chat. It's only 21 seconds, but they did it as a troll against Microsoft.
Let's see.
I would watch it right now. Because what you're saying about them getting rid of the physical discs on the PS5 is a little hypocritical in retrospect.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Okay.
When you buy a pass to play a game, it's not the actual game. You mean?
Are you talking about Game Pass?
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Like when I got the PS Plus, I thought I could actually keep the games, but you can't. So I had to buy Arkham Knight later because I could not play it anymore. I bought it on Steam for $3. That kind of sucked. Also, I basically wasted my PS Plus because I spent longer. I don't play as much, so it took me longer than a month to finish that game.
Yeah. I've had PS Plus for like 3 years, and I keep forgetting to cancel it. So I haven't played my PS4 in like over half a year at least, probably.
So yeah, I like physical games because you can basically share it with your friends, and if you have a good friend that lives nearby, and you're tight on budget. That's what some people do. Just I think Daniel mentioned that one person buys a game, the other person buys another game, and they share it, and they share the games. So why not? I realize why companies don't want people to do that, but I don't think it's bad. It's very logical to do. It's cooperation. So.
Oh, that was one of the things that they changed because, hey kids, if you're listening, back in the day there was a lot of backwards compatibility between consoles, even up to around the point where the PS3 came around. Because the original PS3s, you could play PS1 and PS2 games on it, and then that was very early though, because then the later models came out, and it's like, well, we realized that we could just resell the PS2 games on the digital marketplace and make you pay twice for the same game, so we're going to do that now. And that's when things began to fall apart in terms of that market.
Yeah, it was the gaming market was better. Back in the day, it was, I don't know, more fair, I guess.
Even obviously, the Wii, when it came out, you could play GameCube games on the Wii. You just stick the disc in.
I never had a Wii. I wanted it, but never had it.
That's basically what I used my Wii for, was just to play GameCube games. Because most of the Wii games were kind of trash.
I heard.
But the Wii was a big hit. Every single person had one, even if they didn't play it that much. It was just the hot thing to own.
I did want the GameCube and the Wii, but I was, again, not much money. I had to choose, so I chose the console that had more games that I liked. They also made fun of Apple for moving the headphone jack. Oh, everyone did, yeah. The new phone that I bought doesn't have it. And I hate... I'm going to have to get some Bluetooth speakers. I'm going to have to get them... not speakers, like earbuds. And I'm going to have to get the ones with the ear... The like kind of the hook that goes behind the earlobe, because otherwise I'm too afraid of losing them. They're... I don't know. They feel... Like, I don't feel safe going around with something that's potentially expensive, like $70. I don't know. I'm never gonna spend that much
just money. Pull from your ear.
What?
That someone can just pull from your ear and run away.
Right.
With.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do that. Absolutely not.
It reminds me of this video I saw of this kid at school, and like there was a kid sitting at a table like during lunch or something, and he was like listening to music on his phone with his AirPod. Walks up, takes one of the AirPods out of his ear, and eats it. He actually swallows it.
Oh man.
Great. There's like half of your $180 down the drain right there, literally.
Yep. Flush.
But there are certain things that I would never go wireless for. Like, I can't use like a wireless keyboard or a wireless mouse. It's just not feasible. It's just not feasible.
I was about to say that. I tried really hard. It sucks. It sucks so badly when you type and the strokes get stuck for whatever reason. No. Mouse. I still prefer wired mice. I can do wireless mouse, because in any case I don't.
Yeah. I mean, when you're just working on the computer, I understand that. But if you are playing a game, there are issues with latency. No. Yeah.
Playing a game, no. But I don't play. I don't like to play with the mouse. I get RSI if I do. So much wrist pain. Unfortunately.
Where the heck is Emperor of Cheese?
I don't know. We should be wondering all the time where he is, and he's not here.
Because I feel like he would have a lot to say about this topic, but he's just not here.
Gaming or the Pokemon, the previous thing?
All of it. He would have things to say.
He always has things to say. Not always, but sometimes.
Maybe he's mad because
because
we called
yesterday
him a smoldering simp yesterday.
My brother loses them regularly. I have one of those wires that is a headphone jack, but can't charge. Oh, okay, the converter, the adapter. Yeah, I can get. I mean, I'm still using. So these the earbuds I'm using right now. I'm not using a full headset because it makes my ears hot, and it's hot already. So I'm using earbuds, and these are the ones I got with my phone, the phone that I'm about to replace, 6 years ago, and they're still, working. Never they look like trash because they're they travel across several continents, but they're still pretty good. I never lost them. It's kind of hard to lose them because they're wired. I don't think any Bluetooth thing will have the same fate, and if I have to use an adapter, I'm gonna lose the small adapter probably. So at some point I will, pretty sure, which sucks. Hey, it's life, modern times. Oh, nice. Or not. I miss the old days of good designs and special things. Special things. I think that's a good way to put it. Things felt more special, probably because there was no such abundance.
There was
even
less of it,
games. Yeah, so they felt a little more special, at least to me. Nowadays, it's like trivial. Like, oh, it's a new game. Oh.
Yeah, I remember when FF7 came out. That was like an event. Like, it was all over the magazines. Like, we had video game magazines back then.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, the new Final Fantasy, look at this crazy game that's coming out. It's fully 3D and all this stuff. And it's like, now a Final Fantasy game comes out and it's another Final Fantasy game. I'll play this for a week and then move on to something else. Didn't really
also
happen
because of the availability. Like for me, one of the nice things about, I know it's stupid because it's like delayed gratification, but one of the nice things was just go to the shop and get the game. Just having to go there, you get maybe you will not find it, you don't know, but you go there, you actually find the game and you take it home. And when when I got Final Fantasy X, I remember I was staring at the booklet all the way home in the car while Mom was driving.
Yeah. I miss instruction manuals.
There's something special about that you don't get just I just downloaded this game.
It feels
cheap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that I still have the original white label FF7 that my brother got for his birthday, and I still have the instruction manual with it too. And it's just like, you read this and it has like entire sections on the characters. Like, it tells you Cloud's blood type and things like that. And it's like, these aren't things that you get in the game, but it is interesting that it gives you like a breakdown of the story and then the controls, and then like it gives you strategies and tips, and then it tells you like a little bit more.
They were thick.
Yeah.
They were beefy, like heavy, especially here because they had 5 languages. So, it was a thing. I don't know. I miss that kind of special feel when you bought a game. You actually bought something like, man, I have a new game now. But nowadays it's like, well, I've got games that I did not even play because they're just digital. I could never get over being able to assign the same value to a digital game and to a physical game. If I get a physical game, it's very likely that, unless I really hate it, very likely that I will finish it because I have it. Digital games, not so much. Not so much. For some reason. Which is unfortunate because I still paid for them, but they don't feel the same.
I got my... Go ahead.
No, I was just reading Saman's comment. The original Bayonetta on yes, I think it was on PS3. I remember when I saw it on TV program about games, I had to play it because it looked like Devil May Cry. Well, it's basically like that. It is Devil May Cry. I never played it though. So
I got my FF7 manual right here from my original game copy. Cloud Strife, age 21, height 5'7". Wow, he's a manlet. I didn't realize that. Birthday, August 19th. Birthplace, Nibelheim. Blood type, AB. The main character in Final Fantasy VII, originally a member of Soldier, he is now a mercenary who will take any job. After being hired by Avalanche, he gradually gets caught up in a massive struggle for the life of the planet. His enormous sword can cut almost anything.
Isn't it a spoiler?
What?
Technically, that's he's getting involved with matters that involve the life of the planet.
Not really, because that's every Final Fantasy game.
I know, but they don't say it right away. So.
I just love that they have the blood types, because I guess Japanese are really.
Oh,
all
they
about
care so
that.
much about blood types in Japan. Know this: if you're gonna date a Japanese woman, not mine, I guess, but if you date on the average Japanese girl, she's gonna be interested in your blood type. I don't know why. I don't get it, but they are interested in blood types, and they write it, even on like social media and dating apps. They write their blood type. So it is a thing. Yeah, they're pretty anal about blood types in Japan. Superstitious.
Oh, this is cool. So, like in the character section, it has 3D renders of the characters, and the Barrett model is the original like beta version of Barrett, not the final game.
The
version.
one with the different jacket.
Yeah, he's got the tan jacket instead of the one he has in the game.
I see. Is it in black and white? Or color?
No, it's in color.
It's in color. I think we had it in black. Wait. I think I played the version that was greatest hits though. So that's why.
Oh gosh, there's like like in the instruction manual, it sometimes has artwork to like break up the different sections.
Yeah.
And there's like a 2-page section with Sephiroth in the fire. Like it's split into 2 pages. It's really cool.
They were their own little artwork. I used to copy from those like characters and monsters and whatnot. Summons from Final Fantasy X. So yeah, there was something that made them feel more precious. Nowadays it's like everything is trivial. Everything is whatever, it's just another piece of software. Nothing special. B+. Is it popular with Japanese women? I don't know. Sama, you don't want to be popular with Japanese women, trust me, you don't. I think I've convinced you before already, so.
This is crazy. There's a section here. The following section is a hand-holding walkthrough of Cloud's first encounter with the rebel group Avalanche. In the walkthrough, many things are revealed, which may spoil some of the surprise. If you're feeling totally lost and don't know what to do, refer to this section for advice. If, on the other hand, you have a good grasp on what to do, play through the area first before consulting the walkthrough. That's crazy to me that they actually use the phrase hand-holding walkthrough.
Nowadays, it's like, not only we're gonna hold your hand, we're literally gonna do the thing for you.
Coming soon from Squaresoft at the end of the instruction manual. Bushido Blade. Final Fantasy Tactics. Saga Frontier. Wow.
I think I'm zero positive. Come on. They sound like vampires. Well, I mean, you're not that far from the truth. Metaphorically, you're not that far from the truth. They do suck the life out of you. So Japan does that to a normal healthy person, sucking the life and energy out of you.
Tifa has a blood type of B. I don't know if that's good or not in Japanese terms.
YDR.
Aerith has a blood type of O.
Like me.
So does Barrett.
Does it mean they're brother and sister? I'm kidding.
Well, that makes sense. Then if you have a blood type of O and so does Barrett, that's why I named Barrett after you. I was playing. We're both people of color, I guess.
Yes.
Barrett is 6'4". Cloud is 5'7". Wow.
Cloud is a little shorter than me. I think I'm like 5'8".
Barrett is almost a foot taller than Cloud.
Yeah, Barrett's a big guy. He's a big guy. Cloud looks smallish. Indeed. Also because he's a cube. He's a.
Hey, I'm the same. I'm the same height as Sephiroth. That's pretty cool.
Sephiroth was he was portrayed as tall. How tall is he? 6 what? 6'4"?
He's 6'1".
No, 6'1".
Same as me.
Same as me. Sephiroth.
Don't. Sephiroth.
this is gonna sound horrible in on stream because I've got the other song playing in the background. I don't hear that song, so thank God, because otherwise I would not be able to sleep ever. I would have constant earworms. So apologies, everybody. I wish I could put Final Fantasy music in the background, but it would probably cause copyright issues because I'm not playing the games, and sometimes I'm silent. Just mute it. Me and Tifa are in the same blood team, I guess.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's how it works in Japan, though. Like, don't you need to have opposite blood types, not the same one, for compatibility?
I have no idea how it works. And I have no idea what my wife's blood type is.
Ask your wife about it.
I'm gonna ask. But she's not interested. She doesn't care about that. Usually it's the... there is a specific type of Japanese woman that's very interesting, that like... That's gonna make your life...
Like horoscopes?
Yeah, that sort of thing. It's basically like a horoscope thing.
Right.
And
that's what women in America do all the time. Like, they put in their zodiac sign and their dating profile. Like, I'm a Capricorn or I'm a Taurus.
Like, what the hell?
And
Who cares?
they will actually refuse to date certain people based off their zodiac sign, because they would say, we just don't have compatibility based off of our signs.
I like how you make the voice like so annoying, because it is.
Yeah.
Because I could imagine them talking like that. Like, geez.
Look, I really like you, but listen, you're a Taurus and I'm an Aries, and I just don't think that's gonna work. The stars aren't in alignment for us, I guess.
I think it's 5'9". Yeah, I'm 5'9". I'm 5'9". Saman. You're a little... I think your cheese is about your height.
I remember Samu saying his height, and he's apparently pretty tall.
Yeah, he's like 6'3" or something like that.
I think it was like 6'4" or 6'3", yeah.
My mom today, so she I guess she doesn't know that you use feet in the English speaking world, and so she told me, she is a tailor, and she said, hey, did you know that we measure in our profession, we measure fabric in feet? And I'm like, okay. And she's like, isn't that strange? It's not because it's because the fabric, or not the fabric, the leather is not aligned, so they have to use different measurements because it's wide, it's a skin, it's not a perfect shape. It's like, what? It's like, no, it's just a different unit that they use in the English world. She had no idea. She had literally no idea that feet was a thing that's still being used. So
yeah, that's what we commonly use for measurement here.
Yeah. Horoscope, what zodiac sign? I don't know. I don't even know in December. What is December?
Depends on which day, but I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn. I'm Gemini. Or Gemini. Do you say Gemini or Gemini?
Gemini.
Gemini. Gemini Aqua. Oh. That's from
yeah.
Days of Our Eyes, I think.
Yeah, I think in December, it's like November 22nd to December 21st is Sagittarius, and then December 22nd to January 19th is Capricorn. So I was almost a Sagittarius, but I'm a Capricorn.
Oh. Man, that's really something I do not understand. Not only I do not understand, I don't think it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I don't put much stock into it, but I do find the Capricorn to be an interesting creature. Like it's like half goat, half mermaid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I at one point thought about doing that for my game, like doing
the zodiac. In any case, it's interesting.
Monsters.
It's interesting in terms, right? It's interesting in terms of the creatures. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I did like the Knights of the Zodiac, the Senseiya, when I was a kid. So that was pretty cool.
I believe the
thought.
summons in FF12 are all based
Yes.
off of the Zodiac. Yeah.
Yes. I guess that's why
Some
it's
of those
called
are
the
really
Zodiac
cool.
Age. Yeah, they are. They're pretty cool. I did not really like them back then when I saw them when it came out, but they kind of grew on me. They're pretty nice. They have kind of impronounceable names, but the design is very cool. It's very dark, very dark. Is there a duck there?
I just saw that there's like a new option on Discord for a soundboard, and you can play sounds.
They hurt. Oh.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, please use it. Wait, where is that? Let me see it.
Go to Discord, like where it says share
I
screen,
need
start
that.
activity. There's
Which-
one right next to it called Open Soundboard.
Just your soundboard volume. Maybe later. Start. Do I have to start? Oh, open soundboard. There you go. Oh no, I don't want nitro.
Oh, you can add your own sounds.
Okay, that's easier. Well, I guess it's a little easier then.
Yeah, but if you, what I'm saying is, like, if you add a sound to your server, I can play the sounds that you have that you add to it.
True.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh god. We opened Pandora's box.
Whenever I make fun of cheese on stream, I'm gonna do that.
We need the audience laugh. I'm gonna put it there. The
Yeah.
audience laugh. Yeah.
Instead of typing in a command, you can just press the sound.
It's better. Oh, it's like a smaller, more limited Steam Deck, I guess. You're Aries, okay.
Aries.
Aries? You say Aries?
Hmm.
Okay, Aries. Aries. Aries.
Oh my god.
I
Is that
love
coming
that.
on
I wish
stream?
I had it. Huh?
Are these coming on the stream?
I guess they should. I hear them, so. I
Is that
love
coming
that.
on
I
the
wish
stream?
I had it. Huh?
Okay, I do hear it on stream. Are these coming on the stream?
I guess they
That's
should.
amazing.
I hear them, so. Yes.
What a great
they
new
are.
feature.
They are. They are. It is great. I like that. I should have put it like I never really found anything I liked, but this is great. This is exactly what I wanted. It says.
Or whenever you tell a joke.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can do better than that. Like more cricket sounds. It says I am polite, smart, and a good leader, and tend to disagree. I disagree. I don't know. Are you a leader? I am a leader. Of everybody else. No. Yeah. The reason why I don't like horoscope is because it's, you know, the trick of horoscope is that it's so generic that
You say, that applies to me.
right, it applies to me because it's so generic that, I mean, I'm gonna say something. It's gonna be like, oh, something good is gonna happen to you in the next week. Really? No. Like, I guess something. It also depends on how you see things. Also, because you know that you've been told that, and so you will be looking for some sign.
Yeah. Let me read about Capricorns here. So
Okay.
these are all supposed to apply to me. Capricorn natives are peculiar and powerful. They are very intelligent, but they often have a mean streak. Capricorns are ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the planet of karma, poverty, disease, austerity, and mysticism. Saturnine individuals are somber and mysterious. An earth sign. Those with a Capricorn moon are grounded, thoughtful, and practical. A movable sign. Persons born under the sign are fluid, spontaneous, and fond of change. This makes the native receptive, sensitive, and empathetic. Well, hang on. So they have a mean streak, but they're also receptive, sensitive, and empathetic.
Oh.
And they're also somber and mysterious. So it's like hedging a bet, right? It's like, well, you could be really
Everybody.
mean, but you can also be really nice.
It's pretty much everybody. It's like, oh yeah, that's me. Well, maybe that's not me, but I'm the other part. So
That's the thing. So some of those things could probably apply to me. I'd be like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I am a very practical, grounded person. But then it's like, it also says that you're sensitive, empathetic, and interested in mysticism and things like that. And it's like, wait, I'm practical but interested in mysticism? That doesn't follow.
Right. There's like God of War. The God of War, yeah. Right. Vulcan. Or Mars.
Mars. That's where my last name comes from.
Really? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Obviously, yeah. Makes sense.
My first name means hunter. My last name means God of War. So my parents must have really thought I was going to be like a very aggressive hunter who's part of the God of War.
Apparently.
As
I
far
think
as
you're better
names
than
go, that's
me.
pretty awesome. There are way
Oh, it
worse
is.
names than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't like my name. It means beans. No, it doesn't mean beans.
Really?
No, it doesn't mean beans, but it came.
Oh.
It comes from a noble Roman family that was known for their
Well, that's like the trade. you
the
mean.
trade. They were trading beans.
Lots of names are like that. They're based off of trades that people did.
So my tooth hurts. Damn. This is vague but accurate. You were mean to cheese, I guess. But you are actually very nice to me and help me with my English sometimes. No, he's not nice to you, but you don't notice how mean he is. Horoscope is just like completely generic. Completely generic. At that point, you
It's
know,
just-
yeah.
It's just like the legal terms of the Pokemon thing we read. It's meant to be as vague and broad as possible to make it seem like they have an argument.
It's appealing. That's something my mom's interested in sometimes. Oh, hey, my horoscope said I'm gonna win money or something. Like, sure.
It is mostly a women thing. Women are very interested in the stars for some reason. Maybe they come from Venus. I don't know.
Probably.
But legitimate, I think it's just because a lot of them have very romantic visions of reality. And so the idea of, like, even in Shakespeare, of, Romeo and Juliet are star-crossed lovers, that thing really appeals to women.
I guess.
And, like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, if you're a woman, you're into horoscopes, I'm not going to make fun of you for that. But I would just say, like, don't let that govern your life and your decision-making. That's when it crosses into territory where it's like, okay, you're not doing this just because it's fun. You're taking it a little too seriously.
Right. That becomes a problem. I like the blood type thing very much. Although that one could argue that's a little more grounded because, well, it's a blood type, so at least it's something based.
That's at least
off of,
related to genetics.
yeah, at least it's something a little more based. You could say.
Blood type itself, though, is very broad. Like, it doesn't. A lot of individuals can share the same blood types. That isn't like a particular thing.
No, I don't think it has anything
know.
to do with personality or anything like that. I don't think, but I'm not a genetist. But for the little I know about genetics, it's really not a factor in personality. Some genes do.
No.
Some genes do. I think I mentioned a few streams ago that you're more apt to being high in neuroticism if the carrier gene of serotonin doesn't really do a good job. So it's weaker than usual, or shorter. Basically, the sequence is shorter, something like that. That is a genetic factor that affects personality in how you behave. So, but blood type probably not.
No,
Probably.
and blood type is incidental to the genes involved. There's absolutely genes that do change expressions of behaviors, like the MAOA gene, DAT1, DRS2. All these things affect neurotransmitter levels. I mean, MAOA, DAT1, DRS2. Those kinds of genes do affect like violent behaviors. And when we examine people, like the violent sections of populations, most of them do have those genes. So we can say with
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
No, I agree. You never know when you're going to need some blood from people.
You never
need a
know.
transfusion.
Yeah, so keep only make friends and hang out with people you're compatible with and can be potential donors or organs or something else or just blood transfusion. You never know. Welcome anyway. I guess you were lurking though. Your name means the resourceful, lonely conqueror. That's pretty cool. Like it. China is one of those blood types thing with eyebrows. So if you have like thick or thin eyebrows, then you're more apt to you're more likely to behave in a specific way. Now I'm screwed then. I've got pretty thick eyebrows. I guess that means that I'm gonna be extremely mean.
Is it based on the eye? I actually know a lot of women that are interested in eyebrows. Like that's something that they pick up on when they first meet a guy or something. Because I've been told that I have very striking, attractive eyebrows by a woman
Like
before,
thick
and I never
just the shape.
It's like the shape and the general look of it.
Okay.
Like you don't want to look like a Neanderthal or something.
Yeah.
Like you have like the unibrow, but there are like that is something that they pick up on.
Mm.
I don't know. It's probably related to the eyes themselves because the eyes are such an evocative thing in terms of our appearance.
I guess, yeah. I guess. So detailed. Okay. Okie dokie. Let me see where we are. Okay. Flower needs some help. Been somewhere.
I was gonna say it's kind of funny that somebody would make that remark, like, "Man, you have really sexy eyebrows." But I think like I don't know. Thinking about it, I guess I do notice some things in terms of that, like especially if a woman has like those those penciled on eyebrows that are like very thin and it looks very artificial looking.
It's kind of
That's actually is kind of a turn off for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have to agree. They look weird. Pencil eyebrows are horrible. I had my art teacher in high school. She had no eyebrows, and so she only had them painted. I don't know why she had no eyebrows, but if someone pulled a joke on her and like I don't know. But
that is a common prank here in the United States. When someone is sleeping, you'll like go and shave one of their eyebrows so they just have one and not the other, and so they're either like forced to shave the other to look normal, or they just walk around with one eyebrow.
Or they paint the other. They draw it.
Take a marker and just make eyebrows.
Yeah. Neanderthal eyebrows are base though. Well, you take Giga Chad. It's got pretty thick eyebrows.
Yeah, or Zendaya.
That's Mary Jane. Come on.
I apologize to the Zendaya fans out there.
Are there? Is there any?
Oh yeah.
She's also
You've ever been on Twitter? If you've ever been on Twitter, don't mention her name. You're gonna get someone in your comments talking to you. Oh yeah, you could try it out if you want. Just go on Twitter after the stream and just say, "I think Zendaya is a terrible actress," and see what happens.
Well, she's flat. That's just true. Sorry.
Are you talking about her acting?
No, but also. Yeah, I don't really like her as an actress. I'm sorry to the fans, but no, I'm not sorry. Actually, it's just my opinion. Why should I be sorry? Where's the opening here? God damn it. There is an opening in the flower. In the flower. What are we gonna cook today? Oh, there you go. No, it's not there. God damn it.
I have some hamburger meat. I need to cook that. I think it like expires after today, so I should get on that.
Meat?
Unfortunately, I bought like a tray of patties, and before I could actually cook them, they already went bad. That's the unfortunate thing about buying fresh meat. You have to like cook it right away.
Yeah. Didn't you freeze it? Does it go bad if you freeze
No,
it?
I put it in the fridge, but even if you put it in the fridge, it'll still go bad pretty quickly.
Yeah, when I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to eat something, I'll just freeze it. I know it's not gonna taste the same. It's not gonna be exactly the same if you take it out of the freezer and then eat it. But I would rather not throw away something that's expensive.
I probably should have taken the time to cook them and then not eat them, but like wrap them up and then put them in the fridge for later. But I just didn't, because that would require like cooking multiple times a day. And honestly, I'm a little bit lazy to do it multiple times a day.
Oh, same. Yeah, I tried meal prep. I can't do it. I have to cook when I need.
It takes effort.
Yeah,
it's not as easy as it sounds.
It sounds easy. It's like, oh, well, you're gonna have to cook when you have to eat. Yeah, but you gotta cook. You take a whole afternoon to cook for the whole week, probably, or two. That's not very practical for me. So I had to give up. It's really tiresome to do. Honestly, it is very.
Come on. He says he has Fist of the North Star eyebrows.
Well, mine are thick, but not that thick. Not that.
So you're saying you're what, Kenshiro or whatever his name is?
Yeah,
He's got some thick eyebrows.
Kenshiro.
His eyebrows are like giant rectangles.
Oh yeah, in that anime, I think pretty much everybody's strong at thicker eyebrows. Pretty much everybody. Fist of the North Star. Oh man. Thank you. These things add so much to the stream. I'm glad they added them.
That's awesome, yeah. I just opened Discord and I saw, wait a second, there's like a new little feature gleaming at the bottom.
Yeah, you
here.
can play sounds now, like also much more quickly than it would be on
like commands.
Yeah, commands are slow unless you have a stream deck, which is just $150 for no reason, obviously.
I don't know to what extent like you can add sounds, but like if you can, this almost makes a stream deck pointless.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you can just keep the window on an iPad or something, and you are in a conversation with yourself, I guess, in that case. If you're alone, so that's pretty cool though. I like it. It was a universe. You split them up. Oh, that's what you read before. No, mine are not unibrow. I have some like hair in between, but it's not like eyebrow. Just a little hair. Definitely not. Doesn't look like it's monobrow. Obviously, it's better if they're removed. I did sometimes, but I don't really care that much about my looks. Like I actually don't care about my looks at all. So there is that. I think I should mod.
Dang, I got another package today.
Oh,
The first package was Nemo sent me a T-shirt with Ifrit on it, and it fits great. It smells like rotten eggs, but I'll wash it.
It does smell a little funny. You get it, but it goes away immediately. That's good. It's good. Come on, Bucket. Why is it not working? Why is you not working, Bucket? There you go. Okies. Alright. We got our Venusaur. Almost right. There's a bit of a tangent there. I don't know if I want to keep it. I might just move this. Actually, I'll edit it now. I'll edit it now. I'm gonna do this. Cheese did not show up today. I wonder where Cheese. I wonder if Cheese is back to his own planet.
Uchi died on the way to his home planet.
Maybe he did. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's gonna send us a postcard or something from his home planet, Venus. I guess. Cheese, if you're there, what's your home planet? Please let us know. I
Don't
guess
say
he's also-
Uranus.
Good lord. The unibrow is kind of intimidating. Yeah, now every time you make a joke, you use that, so I understand it's a joke, but I understand this one at least. So, you can also say Uranus, by the way. You can say both.
I remember one of my teachers said Uranus because he didn't want to say Uranus.
The unibrow is kind of intimidating. To be honest, it makes you look like a man that's nothing to lose. Like the monobrow kid from The Simpsons. It's an awesome kid. You know the one.
It makes it look like you're about to hunt a mammoth.
Jeez. Okay. Anyway.
Saman makes stone spear hunt mammoth for food for woman. Saman take woman to cave.
And do snoo snoo, I guess. Anyway. Okay. I got more sniffles today. Sorry. Jesus. I'm sorry, Jesus. I got sniffles. So, what should we do? Let me see. Is there someone playing a game that I can actually raid? Not really. I mean, we always got to Retro Scott. And Ryan is playing. What's he playing? What's observation duty? I don't know. Anyway, it's just a couple of us on Discord. So let's just go. It's Uranus in Arabic and Iran. Okay, I see. But I guess it comes. I think it comes from Latin or Greek. Anyway, I have nothing to lose. Yeah. Proceeds to grow hair between the eyebrows. You could put minoxidil on it. Minoxidil actually grows your eyebrows. So anyways, yes, I might have to remove one. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Chase, for the sound effects and for being here in general. Thank you. I'm bowing, even if you cannot see that. We will be back tomorrow. I don't know if I will do the grayscale of this or I will just do the dragon. I will decide tomorrow, I guess. You know what? It looks like if I look at it now, with the things on the head, on the side of the head, these, it kind of looks like a Japanese haircut. It's like a Japanese lady.
Kind of. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's gotta look different, obviously, with the collar on, but maybe I will have to change. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it because it's funny. So yeah. Again, everybody, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go, and I will see you